Hello, welcome to the very first talk that we are putting together under the banner of Mobius Institute and Noria Corporation. I've got Chris here representing AssetWatch, and we'll have some conversation related to how the wireless system and the market is growing. Chris and his company is relatively new to this area. Their product is very well accepted, and I just wanted to bring the knowledge that we have gained by talking to them about how AssetWatch does the reliability part of it in different types of machines, what sort of certification it has, what additional technologies are coming. So Chris will be very helpful to help us with that. So I think we should first start, Chris, with talking about what are the protocols that you use when you send the data from the sensor to your gateway and from the gateway to any external software in the cloud or whatever.
Yeah, so our sensors are Bluetooth capable. So they send data from the sensor directly to a hub or a hotspot, which then transfers it up to the cloud and directly into the software that we're able to look at that data, differentiate anything that's going on, and give customers a good, reliable recommendation based on what we're seeing.
So I see in my career working with different companies, how dependable is the Bluetooth connection?
Oh, it's very dependable.
Okay.
You don't have to really worry about too much as long as it's on and it's in a good distance away from
Yeah.
that hub or a hotspot. The connectivity is great. We don't have very much issue with that as long as there's not a lot of stuff in between, as steel walls and stuff like that. It's very good.
It captures. So what you're telling me that what is good for your home systems with the Bluetooth connection with your phones, with your other technology, is pretty much the similar, and it works perfect. So there is no exception or anything special about the Bluetooth. The whatever commercially available Bluetooth connection is what you're trying to use.
Exactly. It's same thing with your phones. If you have a Bluetooth speaker, you're within so much distance, but other than that, it's just fine.
I've seen that. And the other natural question that comes all the time, I've seen this in my career all the time. The next question, I'm sure you have heard it a few times. How long does the battery last?
Yeah, generally our batteries last anywhere from 2 to 3 years. All depends on the environment, sampling rates, intervals with testing. It can be adjusted to go higher or lower. So that can always affect a little bit of that battery life, but generally every 2 to 3 years is what a sensor battery will last.
So when you say 2 to 3 years, is there any particular frequency you want to monitor, or you go for high frequency, low frequency?
We can do both. We can do high frequency. If you've got turbines, we can go higher than what we normally would set it at. If you have a low speed shaft, low speed output shaft on a gearbox or anything like that, we can lower it all the way down to capture anything all the way down to about 1 to 5 RPM for that rotation speed.
That's interesting, because that will be very useful where you have slow machines, especially in paper mills.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure you're using those over there. The next question usually is also, especially in the petrochemical plant, they were asking, how do you have it working in terms of hazardous areas? What certifications you have? Or do you have different categories of sensors based on the area of classification?
Yeah, so actually we do have one of our PBSM version 2.2 sensors. Those are certified for C1D1, C1D2, C2D1, and C2D2. So that if you have any pieces of equipment that are in any of those stringent hazardous areas, we're able to get in there and monitor that equipment safely and effectively.
What are some of the new things that you are planning to bring, which will be separate from other people who are just coming up with a normal system that is everybody else has? How do you differentiate AssetWatch?
Like you said, there are a lot of new players coming into the game. And with AssetWatch, one of our big differentiators is not just our technology, not just the sensor and the fact that we have our hubs and hotspots that effectively and seamlessly transmit that data.
Perfect.
But we have a large team of condition monitoring engineers that are there in the background on that personal level, that human level, make sure that we're effectively communicating those issues to the customer, and you're not just getting a lot of AI alerts coming into the game.
That can quickly become very nuisance alarms all the time, and then the people say, how can I turn it down? Right?
People start to stop paying attention to those alerts.
Exactly,
very
when it is
quickly.
too common. You're absolutely right. What are some of the challenges that the IT people face with your system and the networking? Because obviously they have their certification of NERC for uh, security, cybersecurity requirements. How do you counter that? Is that easy to work with, or does that require approvals and all sorts of system hardening and all that?
Yeah, so that's a really good question because we actually don't have to get involved with any of your IT departments. We with what we have with that Bluetooth and the hub and the hotspot, we actually use a mobile connection. So any mobile carrier that you can think of is where we'll run that through. So we don't have to tie into your IT or use your Wi-Fi or your internet. It's its own standalone system. Make sure it broadcasts seamlessly, and you don't have to have anybody involved. We come in, we install it in one day, make sure everything's connected, it's transmitting that data, and we're good to go.
I think the value of your system comes from the fact that, yes, we are bringing that data to you. The next step will be the people from IT will say, well, I need to bring the data that AssetWatch is sending me into my CMMS system, into my SCADA system. Have you done that already?
Absolutely. We actually do partner with a couple people that are here, Limbo and MaintainX, and plenty of other CMMS system providers as well that are out there. So we have a whole integrations team that will sit down with you and communicate back and forth with your provider and seamlessly integrate that technology. So that way when we put in a recommendation, it will generate a work order. It'll populate that work order.
Wonderful.
And then your team can go out and execute that mission without having to take that information and put it into a work order separately.
So say, for example, a instrument air compressor will be criticality rated A because if that goes down, all the instruments go down. So are you able to capture that part into your software data, which says, hey, the machine I'm observing right now has a criticality rating A, it is higher up in the priority to watch if there are any vibration issues?
Yes, absolutely. When we put in a recommendation, we can absolutely put that priority level in that recommendation.
Exactly.
So that when that work order is generated, your site automatically knows that one, they know their equipment, right? They know what their critical assets are.
They know the tags.
They can see that, yep, this is a critical issue. This is a high priority.
Absolutely.
And we want to be able to jump on that as soon as possible.
So if I ask you a question, you have been experienced doing this for some years. What do you see in the horizon in the next, I would say, 10 years in the field? What are some of the things that you can see will happen? Now, I know the AI will be a good question to ask, but are you guys doing something with AI? Are you bringing that in or thinking about it? Or what are some of your predictions that things will change in the future and will make wireless vibration monitoring much more adapted to the future?
Yeah, so of course we do use AI, and coming down the line 10 years from now, I think AI integration, but also that human element is going to be a big factor.
Absolutely.
Right? So again, you can have systems that provide mostly AI alerts, but again, that fatigue comes into play and you stop paying attention to a lot of those alerts. The AI is here to help us find those issues and bring it to the forefront before it becomes a major problem. But then that human element, person looking at that data and bringing that recommendation, that expertise, that field expertise into the environment is really the big helpful, the key factor there.
So one, being a gearhead and a greasy hands guy, you work with the machines all the time. A lot of time the maintenance people say, and that has happened with some of the pioneers who started with their wireless vibration system, to replace a battery was a big challenge. Some people have the very high frequency of replacing battery. Some have got special tools to do that. Some of that have so flimsy sensor or the mounting that the moment you try to remove it, you are actually breaking the sensor all the time. How easy it is to change the battery?
Yeah, so actually our sensors, we don't have to change the battery. What we'll do is, again, they last 2 to 3 years.
I see one sitting right here that
absolutely.
you have. Yeah.
When these batteries start to go, and it's a very strong magnet.
I saw that.
When the battery starts to go low in these, we have our own customer support team that will notify the customer that the batteries are starting to get low. And at one point, we will generate a work order to have our team, our ART team, go
work
and
order.
replace those sensors free of charge, part of your service agreement. So you don't have to worry about replacing batteries, replacing sensors. Our team will come out and take care of all that for you. So
perfect. So I'll give you a scenario. I know you can do that very easily. I'm a food and beverage company. I've come to you. I want to start a wireless program. Where would you and how would you get me started?
So everybody's got to start somewhere. It doesn't have to be a major challenge. Where's your critical assets? Where are your pinch points? Is there a piece of equipment or a line that you have that if something goes down, it takes down your entire plant? Right? It doesn't have to be anything that, it doesn't have to be a big process there. You start somewhere. So give us your critical equipment, give us your process pinch points, let us install some sensors, and we'll show you the difference that we can make.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Chris, for sharing your expertise with this new technology. I hope the people who are watching this have benefited from it. Is there any message that you want to give to the people who are listening?
Just we're ready to help, and we're ready to install and help find your problems and fix them as they come seamlessly and effectively. If you ever need any help, reach out to us. We're always here, ready to help.
Perfect. Thank you very much.